Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Tara. I'm a mom of 2 boys, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about how you can talk to your kids about diversity and inclusion. So I'm going to jump right into the video today, and we're going to start off by talking about what diversity and inclusion is. So diversity is the range of human differences. This includes things like race, ethnicity, gender identity, physical or mental ability, religious values, national origin, language, learning styles, family structure, and so much more. Basically, it's the things that make us different. Inclusion is the practice or policy of providing equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized based on their differences. So this might be things like having a physical or mental disability, or maybe members of a minority group. Inclusion ensures that the inherent worth and dignity of all people are recognized. So why is it so important to teach our kids about diversity and inclusion? I believe it is important to talk openly and positively about the differences to help our children better understand themselves and those around them. Diversity and inclusion helps children learn to empathize with the people who are different from them. And it creates children who are learners and allows them to understand and view others from different viewpoints other than their own. So I want to talk now about how I promote diversity and inclusion in my home. The best way for kids to learn about anything is to see it modeled by trusted adults. Parents and caregivers can take active steps to make sure their child is exposed and has opportunities to learn about what makes us different. So this is how I involve my kids. The first thing I do is I acknowledge differences. When my child sees somebody with, let's say, a disability, instead of telling them not to look or walk away, I'm honest with these things and use them as learning opportunities. Kids notice differences, so there's no need to pretend that they don't exist. I just try to stay positive in the way that I speak about others. So for example, if I were to see somebody in a wheelchair, I might say something like, some people have legs that don't work the way ours do. They need a special chair to help them get around, and that chair is called a wheelchair. So as you can see, I was just stating the facts in a positive tone, and I'm not adding in my own bias or opinions. The next thing that I do is I emphasize similarities rather than differences. I try to teach my children that even though someone might be different in one way, there's a lot of ways that we're the same, and we probably still have a lot of things in common. So with the wheelchair example, I might say, even though they use a wheelchair to get around, they love to do a lot of the same activities we do. Look, they enjoy painting or playing games, or we both enjoy eating the same snacks. Obviously, I'm simplifying things, but for small kids, this is really important that we're teaching that we all are different, but that we all are the same on the inside. When it comes to difficult topics, I try to ask open-ended questions and listen without judgment. So if someone has a different worldview than I do, instead of bashing that person, especially in front of my kids, I will model how I'm able to listen to their point of view without being harsh or shutting down the conversation. This becomes a really great tool to teach your children. And we know that the best way for our children to learn, again, is to have that behavior modeled. So if we want our kids to be the type of person who's willing to listen to somebody else who maybe has a different point of view or looks differently than us, then they've got to see that modeled through their parents or trusted adults. And if my kids ask questions that I'm not sure how to respond to, I take the time I need to come up with a suitable answer. Sometimes when our kids are asking about others that are diverse from us, we might not always have all the answers right away, and that's okay. I let them know that I'll think about it and I'll get back to them, and I follow through. That's the most important, that they know and can trust that you are going to follow through with an appropriate answer. So another thing that we do is we read diverse books. As much as I love teaching my children these important life lessons in the moment, we don't always have the opportunity to meet all these different kinds of diverse people and situations that I know my kids will see out in the real world one day. So books are a great way to teach my children about diversity and inclusion here at home. So I wanted to share some of our favorite books on diversity and inclusion. I'm going to start off with Global Babies. This is my favorite book for infants. I'm always buying this book to give out to anyone who just had a baby. Babies love looking at faces, and this Global Babies book is a great way to start showing your baby different baby faces. This book has babies from all over the world: Guatemala, Thailand, Greenland, the US, India, and this has been a favorite book for both of my kids when they were babies, and even today they enjoy looking at the different babies in this book. The next book is called The Proudest Blue. This book talks about a little girl getting her first hijab, and my son's teacher actually wears a hijab, and I wanted to make sure that he understood why she wore one and why some people might wear a hijab and some people might not. This was a great book to start that discussion with my older son as he was going into school, and it's actually been a book that we both really love. And for back to school, we also had bought All Are Welcome. This is an amazing book. I think it should be in every home, in every school, in every library. It just talks about how all people are welcome in this classroom, no matter where they come from or what they look like. They're all welcome. The next book that we have is called This Is How We Do It, and this is one day in the lives of 7 kids from around the world. This is such a fun book. It follows these 7 children from different areas of the world and shows a day in their life. So you can see what it's like for somebody in Italy or Peru or India, and my oldest son really loves this book. This book outlines how each person is a little bit different, but that we really are still the same. We are getting up and we're eating breakfast and we're going to school and we're dealing with the same things, but it might look a little different. Like where I sleep might look different from where you sleep, but we're still sleeping. Yeah, so here's the page, and it shows how the different beds that everyone has, and it talks about in Italy I sleep in my own room. In India, I sleep on a huge bed next to my sisters and parents. In Japan, I sleep on a futon on the floor next to my sister. In Uganda, I sleep on a wood bed under a mosquito net in a room I share with my parents. So yeah, it's just really interesting to see and have these conversations with my kids about how other people live. Yeah. The next book about diversity is Our Diversity Makes Us Stronger, and this is a really sweet book about a little boy who is wearing glasses, and he's worried about how his friends will react to his differences. And it says, little Nick was worried about his friends not accepting him because of his new reading glasses. Luckily, while interacting with his peers, he realized that all people have differences that make them unique. This book teaches the message that all children should love themselves and others just the way they are. We have to be kind to those who are different from us, respect all the differences, and celebrate our diversity. So this is a great book with a great message and easier for little kids to read. And the next book is a Daniel Tiger book. We love Daniel Tiger for helping us teach difficult concepts, and this one is called Daniel's New Friend. This is about his friend Chrissy, who has leg braces to help her to walk. And this story is just about Chrissy and Daniel learning to play together and talking about their differences and similarities. All right, these next books are all about people with different abilities. There is 2 series of books that I really love that help to teach about different abilities. The first one is this book called Some Kids Use Wheelchairs, and they also have some kids are blind, some kids are deaf, and some kids wear leg braces. On the back it says, everyone is different in his or her own way. Learning about differences helps us better understand each other. Understanding differences tells readers about everyday lives of kids who are blind, deaf, wear leg braces, or use wheelchairs. And then there is this series from Bullfrog Books called All Kinds of Friends, and we have My Friend is Blind, My Friend is Deaf, and the Different Abilities book. There are actually a bunch of different books in this series. There is My Friend Has Autism, My Friend Has Down Syndrome, My Friend Has Leg Braces. So it looks like there are lots of different books in this series, so I might have to look into getting some of the other ones, but these are the 3 that we have, and my kids really love these books. In our life, we don't know anybody who is blind or deaf, but it's been a great way to start a conversation with my kids, especially my 4-year-old, on that some people can't hear or some people can't see and what that's like for them. We actually went to the library recently and we saw Braille, and so that started a really great conversation with my 4-year-old about how people who are blind are able to read, and he thought that was really amazing. So I loved these books to kind of get that conversation started. The last 2 books I have are great for toddlers toddlers, and the first one is called All Kinds of People, and this just talks about how people come in all different colors, and I love that they aren't just black and white. It goes through all the different shades, copper and tan and almond and shades of gold, and I just love that we can talk about colors not just so black and white, but that everybody's skin is a different shade, and my kids have really loved this book. And the next book I have is a Love Every book called Adela Comes Home. This book is about a Native American girl named Adela and her coming home story, and it is a really fun story. My boys have enjoyed reading this. It talks about a ceremony that they do, and my boys really love the canoe that she gets in and the outfits that she wears. It's just a great way to, again, talk about somebody who might have a different culture than we have and to expose them to what that looks like for Adela. I love that this book allowed me to have the conversation with my son about Native Americans and to talk about Adela and what life is like for her. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found some inspiration on talking to your kids about diversity and inclusion and enjoyed the book recommendations that I had for you. I'd love to hear how you're talking to your kids about diversity and inclusion in your home. Please let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe because I make new videos just like this on my channel every week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!